Here we go. UFC Fight Night, Macau, China. And here's your lock of the week. All right. All we do is take Jacob's lock of the week from WeWantPicks.com and we apply it to our machine learning system. It populates the side, A, B, red, blue, who wins the fight, and it provides us odds. Okay. Consider this AI. Consider it AI. All right. So we have a huge team behind what we do at Pro Schmo Bets, but I like to be in front of it. It's like what Dana's doing, right? Dana's always in front of it, but he has a whole team. He has a public relations expert. He has the matchmakers. He's got everything, media. I mean, everything around him, right? Obviously, we're not on that scale, but when it comes to predicting fights, publishing bets, content, you can find it at proschmobets.com, Instagram. This is what I am referring to. Now, folks, last week, from the beginning of when the fight was announced, actually, for about maybe 10 strong days, we were supporting Eduardo Moura. The Pro Schmo community learned that Eduardo Moura would be my underdog of the week. All right. This was way before Jacob had even published his lock of the week. All right. I published a note on Instagram and everyone read it. Veronica Hardy and a huge X. X marks the spot for the defeated fighter. Now, so what happened? And I got a lot of shit for that. And I understand. Now, let me explain, though, what happened. Pro Schmo community, let me explain. All the DMs, the emails we received, the comments on the videos. Let me explain what happened. All right, folks. So, yes, when I capped the fight, I understood that Moura had an edge, particularly in the grappling. Okay, this would be the only wrestler that Veronica Hardy would face to this point. All right, Juliana Miller being the more expert grappler. But besides that, Moura was aside. First time, for Veronica Hardy in an octagon. This was a quite obvious bet for me, right? And I'm pretty frank with everyone in our community about what got me started, and that's women's MMA, and they know it, right? So now they're all like women MMA experts. Sometimes their bets are actually, their predictions are much better than my own, which is incredible. I'm very proud of that, right? Our whole community is very proud of that. So what ends up happening, Jacob publishes his lock of the week. I apply it to the machine learning system. We have a team. We have more than data scientists, all right? We have a whole team, and then it comes back that Veronica Hardy's is the pick with minus 200 odds. So how the hell did that happen too, right? So when I read that report, minus 200 odds, right? What we do is we pay $5,000 every quarter, $20,000 a year. Okay, so $5,000 covers 3 months worth of an entire team of experts. Okay, they review prediction models. They anything from the mean to the variance between fighters and styles, and there's just so much more that, these are PhDs that I don't possess, right? Although I do possess a master's degree, I don't possess that knowledge, and they're the experts, I'm not. But I thought it odd that it was a minus 200 on Veronica Hardy, a potential submission at that, or finish on the feet, and you can see that published, that fight summary, that fight analysis on the website proschmobets.com. And so it happens. Veronica Hardy loses the fight, right? I think she won round 1 and round 3. Okay, but whatever, right? I want you guys to remember that next time Eduardo Moura comes around, like y'all, the entire world bet Mayra Bueno Silva against Raquel Pennington. But the Pro Schmo community bet Raquel Pennington against Mayra Bueno Silva. Eduardo Moura will be your Mayra Bueno Silva. Okay, if you don't know how to fade that spot. Anyway, folks, so what happens, right? Had to reach out, spoke to the team, let them know something was peculiar about this. We always get the fight odds rather evenly close to what the match looks like. And it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't an overwhelming pick. Veronica Hardy was not an overwhelming pick. Whereas, let's say with Brandon Moreno or Pat Sabatini and these other picks that, we did great on, right? We went, I think, 5 for 1, 5 wins, right? And 1 loss on, this lock of the week, right? WeWantPicks.com, ProSchmoBets.com. And then it dawned on me. So before the lock of the week with Veronica Hardy and Eduardo Moura on this past UFC 309 event. There was the Albazi Fight Night card with Brandon Moreno. And I gave the boys a break. I gave the team a break. I said, hey, guys, there's no need. This guy Albazi is coming back from injury, right? And so I described, what sort of injury to you guys publicly through YouTube. And then we published content on it. So when they got back for this prediction with Eduardo Moura and Veronica Hardy, the team never applied to our machine learning system the new rule set of the 12-6 elbows, and much less the grounded opponent rule now, okay? So you saw that, actually. I don't think it affected the fight much, but you saw Eduardo strike Veronica Hardy, right, when her hands were on the mat, and there was no disqualification. Could that have been a variable? Who knows? But all I can tell you is that the odds from our machine learning system provided -200 odds, and Veronica Hardy has a side. And this is how that all happened. And then I want to explain to my community personally that although we did have, Eduardo Moura winning, when, I came forward with that as the lock of the week for our own, 10 days early, it just so happens that the machine learning system produced Veronica Hardy over Eduardo Moura. All right, folks. And now we move on. We move on to UFC Macau, China. Folks, and while the machine learning system team, the stat team, everyone is working on that side of everything that we do, again, I'm giving them an opportunity for to take time off, because there is no need to go to work on a pick like this. All right, we got Nicholas Moura. Nicholas Moura is the lock of the week this week, right? And there's a huge problem with that. So he's facing Mahashet. Mahashet is a kickboxer, whereas boy here, Nicholas Moura is a boxer brawler who sits on his punches, is very patient, and relies on overhands, and is a bit too latent with the power that has actually carried him through his UFC career, and that's what he's relying on. It's how he gets through. It's his power. Now I remind you, he's a boxer going up against a Thai boxer, a Thai fighter in Mahashet. Okay, and in addition to that, you're in Macau, China. And common sense. I mean, folks, if you did not know this, and you heard it here first. You heard it here first. If you did not know this, well, you'll discover now that the last time the UFC was in Macau, there was controversy all over how Dana White removed a judge from the judges panel because he scored 2 rounds in the opposite fighter, right, on the winning side. Yeah, folks. And then, following the next UFC card, he had invited him over, realizing he was wrong. With this said, I'm explaining to you that there is no regulating body. There's no commission like the Nevada State Athletic Commission or New York State, right? That's what's happening now in China. All right. So whether this goes to decision or not, which I doubt, because first, again, he's very patient. It's either Nicholas Moura is patient or he's all in round 1. Now, he enjoys countering, right? So he's a counter striker with a strong left hand. Okay? And Mahashet is not Tom Nolan, okay? Mahashet is going to find this guy's chin, especially as Nicholas Moura has trouble even closing range. Especially at this height and proportion. So despite you guys believing that Tom Nolan is anything close to Mahashet in proportion, he's absolutely not. Tom Nolan is actually a featherweight height. I think he is much taller than Corey Sandhagen. I can almost guarantee that. All right. Whereas Mahashet is not. Mahashet is particularly Mario Bautista or Corey Sandhagen height. So, we could give him this flyweight, bantamweight, proportion. But Tom Nolan, that's a whole featherweight, man. Guy could even fight at lightweight if he wanted. All right, folks. So, yeah, that's how we see this fight developing. And here's the thing: we drop $1,000 every time we have a lock of the week. We drop $1,000. Okay, the only time we've never done so is against Daniel Pineda and Darren Elkins, and of course, that's common sense, folks. Who's dropping that on a 40-year-old? Okay, absolutely not, unless you're Mike Tyson. And no one's coming out with a whole rack. Okay, now, folks, $1,000. We're taking Mahashat and we're taking Peter Yan on the money line. Peter Yan, 12-6 elbows. For once, he could win this fight, and not have to worry about disqualification on a grounded opponent. Oh, this guy's finishing Figgy. This guy's finishing Figgy, folks. You heard it here first. Lock of the week, Mahashat and a parlay with Peter Yan, folks. That's what we'll do. $1,000. All right, and catch you on the flip side.